Hey friends, this is happening. I am excited to introduce the Consciousness Lab. Two perspectives. One, truth-seeking consciousness. I am Melissa Henyon, psychic medium, animal intuitive, metaphysical teacher, and lover of grounded but spicy truth. And I am joined by the brilliant, consciously Erin, scientist, intuitive. She is a total powerhouse who brings the evidence to match the energy. And together we are bridging the mystical and the measurable. And we're not here to convince you of anything. We're actually here to excavate what's already stirring in your field. Each episode will bring a theme: survival versus intuition, frequency shifts, spiritual downloads, nervous system wisdom, and the things most people won't say out loud, we do. We'll unpack it from both sides, the intuitive, the analytical, and we'll leave you with something practical to carry into your week. This is a lab, not a lecture. We're experimenting, we're questioning, we're inviting you to do the same. Expand yourself, expand your resources, expand your field. So whether you're tuning in from TikTok, Patreon, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, or you just stumbled across us mid-scroll, welcome. You're not too late, you're right on time. The Consciousness Lab is open, so let's excavate.
Begin. Let's have an introduction, right? Shall we introduce ourselves?
Let's do it.
Welcome everyone to the Consciousness Lab. We are so excited that you are here with us. You are participating in what is basically a live podcast recording. Melissa and I are going to talk about you're going to be amazed at the amount of topics that we will cover in this conversation. And we really bounce off each other really, really well. I go in and out of channels. She has ghosts interrupting her thoughts. I mean, it's a circus in here, right? The best part about this, you guys, is that you can ask questions in the chat. If you are watching this live, that's the best part. You on my Facebook, on my YouTube, on her Facebook, her X, and her YouTube?
Facebook, X, and YouTube.
Facebook, X, and YouTube. You can participate live in this podcast recording. The good news is, of course, if you missed the live, it will be on for replay. You can find it on Spotify once it gets put up there. Give it us a few days at least, okay? This is the inaugural podcast, so we are excited to be here. I'm going to introduce myself, and then Melissa will introduce herself, and then we're going to get started talking about some super fun stuff. So hang out, pull up a chair, give a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and be ready. Be ready for some open-minded conversation, right? So my name is Erin. Hi, friends. It's me, Erin, your friendly neighborhood energy alchemist. I am a frequency and clarity coach. And I've been on this awakening journey for about 6.5 years. I used to have a professional life where I was in medicine. I was a nurse for a long time in ophthalmology, and then I was working at a medical school, teaching at a university in healthcare simulation when I had my awakening experience. And now I am a professional frequency coach. And what that means is that through inspired conversation, your frequency entrains to mine, and then I can start picking up on little things in your energy that maybe you don't see because your perspective is shifted in a way that is unhelpful. So that's kind of how I work. You can catch me doing oracle card readings here and there, but truthfully, friends, the best conversation we can have is face-to-face. So that's me. This is my friend Melissa.
How in the hell did you remember all of that? I am impressed. My name is Melissa. I am a psychic medium. So, this has not been something I've always done. In fact, I thought I was losing my shit, and I put myself in therapy for 2 years so I could understand why I was hearing, feeling, sensing, and seeing things. So my world was in marketing. I was a marketing coordinator. I worked for a large fruit company, and I also worked in the admin team down in the orchard side. for a little while before I decided to quit my job and do this full time. Now, my nighttime job was giving riding lessons and training horses, and I did that for several years. I actually was working my way up because what I wanted to do was be a traveling clinician, traveling around the world helping people with their horses. So I still have horses. I have an arena. I have all the things, round pen, barn, but I do not give lessons as a rule of thumb. I have friends that I will help here and there, but I actually don't give lessons mostly. Now I just ride and I do this. This mediumship has become my world. Um, I wrote down some of my titles: regression therapist, so I do QHHT. I have co-written a book. I channel spirit. So when spirit channels, there's a difference for me between when spirit speaks through me and when it runs through my filter. And so for me, when I say channeler, it's because they're literally running through without my filter. I say it, and then, oh, okay. So, and then psychic. Psychic is something everybody does. Everybody's a medium too, just so you know. So people out there saying how special they are. Well, we're all special. So don't let anybody take that away from you. You absolutely, and Erin and I will talk about this, I'm sure. We've talked about it a lot. But everybody has clairs and everybody has abilities. And our psychic abilities are clairs. Okay? So that's who I am. There's a lot more to my story, but I think that's a pretty good synopsis to get us started.
Yeah. And for everyone who is joining us in the chat, we're super excited that you're here. Don't be butthurt if we don't get to your question. All right? There's a lot going on, and we have a lot to talk about. And if we start to get in a channel or it really starts to flow, we may miss your question. And I'm sorry, not sorry. You're here to participate. You're here to help build the energy, talk to each other. You know, but put your questions in there, because when we do have time, we will absolutely do our best to answer some of those questions. Please, yes, do a favor, hit the like button.
Hit the like, share with your friends, bring your friends on, because that absolutely helps us. I know for myself personally, Facebook can screw with my algorithm a little bit here and there. I actually, that is a thing. It is a real thing. I get notifications. So, share. The more you share, the more it pops us up in the algorithm and people can see it.
Yeah. All right. So we were talking about, when we came on, we were kind of saying, she was saying, I don't really have any questions. I don't really have anything to talk about. I'm like, girl, I got your back. So this is so amazing, right? So normally I just show up and Melissa does the questions. Today, I don't really have questions, but I took notes today, friend. I wrote down stuff. I was like, we should talk about this, right? So you want to start with all right, so we're going to be open-minded in all conversations, right? Everybody's open-minded. So do you want to start with the thing that sounds the hardest to believe, or the thing that's most mysterious, or a bit of very good news?
Well,
where do you guys want to start? What do you want to start with?
Do I get to go, or do they go?
Everybody, let me know.
Okay, because I'm like, I want to do the hardest just because I am all about popping those pimples right now.
What do you mean by hardest, though? Like the most outlandish, or?
Yes. Okay. I love outlandish.
All right. Well, let's go with outlandish. So, I don't know if you've heard this story, but there is a video circulating, several videos circulating. Last time we talked about family curses, but we didn't get to finish.
I just popped that up and I'll write it down, and you can finish yours, and then we'll go to that if you're okay with that.
Yeah. Just remind me. Yep. So there's this video going around of this guy saying that he was kidnapped by dolphins. Have you seen this?
Okay, so a piece of it. I didn't see the whole thing.
Okay. Oh my gosh. So this is the story, right? Like, oh my God, check it out. So this guy, I don't know 100% the details. Please don't come at me. All right. I'm remembering to the best of my ability. But let me put all the pieces together. Okay. Let me put all the pieces together before. Okay. So the video comes out. The guy is saying these dolphins kidnapped him, took him down, and he had to do something like help them build an underwater city. right? And everybody totally wrote this guy off. He's crazy. He's hallucinating, blah, 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 blah. This man had no drugs in his system. He had no alcohol in his system. And he's a trained, like, biological engineer. Like, he's like, that's his job, right? And the amount of detail this man was giving, he was drawing blueprints in the sand. Like, this is crazy, right? So we see this video, and I see it, and I thought, well, isn't that interesting? Because when my son was like 4 years old, 4 years old, he come downstairs one morning and he said, Mama, I had the craziest dream. And I said, what was it? He said, there were these dolphins and they were building a city underwater and they were showing me how they did it. And I had a bubble around my head and one of the dolphins was meaner than the other dolphin and blah, blah, blah. Now, I haven't thought about this story since my son is almost 20 years old. I haven't thought about this story in years, but I'm listening to this guy and it's like part of me was going, well, hang on. I feel like I've heard this story, right? So interesting connection there. But then like, a day or two later, my friend Megan texts me, and she goes, hey, what do you think of this story? And she's kind of, I think he sounds kind of crazy, haha, whatever. And I go, you know what? I'm very reluctant to dismiss him. I'm very reluctant. Something about this is making me unable to just push this aside. I can't do it, and I can't explain why. And I go, maybe, if beings can appear to us in a way that is calming to us, what if it was an interdimensional being and that's how he saw them, right? Yeah. Okay. Then, like 2 days later, okay, we all know our phones are listening to us. I fully admit this. But then, like 2 days later, I'm scrolling through TikTok as one does, and Bashar comes up. And I kid you not, the video was Bashar talking about how Syrians connect to dolphins and how Syrians will utilize dolphins for communication and all this stuff, right?
Does everybody know who Bashar is? In case we need to share.
Well, in case anyone doesn't know, Bashar is like the OG channel. His name is Daryl Anka. Bashar is the entity that this man named Daryl Anka channels. He's been doing this for like 40 years, like professionally everywhere in the world. He's very easy to find. And he does these channeling sessions where people ask questions. This little snippet that I saw was about the dolphins. And he was talking about how dolphins are, sentient and they communicate with Syrians and all this sort of stuff was coming through with that. And it, to me, again, I feel very strongly like we cannot just dismiss this. Now, I don't know what happened. But it feels flippant of us understanding that we are in the precipice of learning something huge about the universe to dismiss this as nothing. You know what I mean? Did we lose Melissa? We might have lost Melissa. Man, and I was on such a good roll. We did. We lost Melissa. Daggone it. Well, hopefully she'll be back. But you get what I'm saying, right? So we have this guy, and it makes me, I'm unwilling. There she is.
Damn, I got booted.
Got booted. Yeah. So it makes me unwilling to dismiss this guy and his claims. Now, again, I'm not saying that I know what it is. I'm not saying that for sure everything he thinks is correct, but I really get stuck on the idea that if a being is able to manipulate your mind and it doesn't want to scare you, right? Perhaps it takes on a form that is familiar to you. Just like my one guide that shows up in my dreams, right? The man with a white beard. He shows up looking like Socrates because I associate Socrates with knowledge and learning. So every time he shows up in my dream space, I immediately know he's here to teach me something. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I kind of wonder about that. So that was the most outlandish story. And I'm really curious what you guys have to say about that, like what you guys think about that. Because I heard the story, and I think people are very quick to just dismiss. And I think we're being too quick to do that. We don't know everything. We don't. And
there's so much more that's going on. And I want to say, too, what is right for one person doesn't necessarily mean it's right for another person, but it doesn't make the other person wrong either.
Right.
Do you know? So I have a sense that there's some truth to it, but I feel like it's a truth based on his soul's journey, not necessarily everybody else's. Does that make sense?
It does. And you know what else, too, though? Mary Hamilton has a great point here. Megan, the woman who does the dowsing rods, she asked the rods, and they said he was telling the truth. So, again, you know what I mean? Like, there's all these little things.
Do we know his name?
I don't know his name at all. I wish I did. I don't. And I hope that, you know, he's doing all right because this has so much like attention on it. Like I can only imagine how, you know, how weird it must be for him.
Oh, bless her. And I imagine that's probably making him go through psychological things and all of that.
Well, how could they not, right? And I do agree. I agree. Dehydration can make you hallucinate, absolutely. But I've never read of or seen a case of dehydration that resulted in that kind of hallucination with that much detail and carrying over. You know what I mean? Like it's very hard, you know, but again, just saying that maybe you never know.
Can reach that state. There's proof that we don't use very much of our brain, and if we learned how to use more of it, we can transcend a lot of shit. So I would almost, I don't know. I mean, crazier things have happened, yes. Every day.
I mean, there are crazier things that I've heard, like I feel today, you know, like, especially when you think about how there have been so many spiritual teachers over time who have talked about dolphins as sentient creatures. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I love this one.
Shape-shifting. That's another thing.
How do you feel about shape-shifting? Is that nuts? Are we crazy?
I don't, girl, let me tell you. As much as I have experienced in my life, in my personal life experience firsthand, it would be nearly impossible for you to present me with something and for me to go, no way, that's not possible at all. Because I have shocked myself continuously. Yeah. I have learned the hard way to stop moderating like what I think is possible because I keep unlearning that. You know, like I keep stepping outside of what I thought I knew constantly.
Life experiences has a way of doing that to us. We might believe this could never happen, and then you are brought to a place where you get to experience it.
Right, exactly.
So I don't necessarily believe in karma as karma's going to get you, but the law of attraction will absolutely help you with that. You know, bring things into our energy to put us in place.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's is it Alley Angel? A dolphin uses more brain capacity than humans. I think those things do. So sorry.
You know, people do
what they want.
Not convinced the smartest mammal on this planet. Just saying. His name is Devin. Somebody says his name is Devin.
Aw. Gosh, I want to talk to him. Like, tell me the things.
I would be interested to talk to him too, you know. So let's go back. So before I brought up Dolphin Man, right, there was a comment that you put up about family curses. I don't remember that conversation. So
yes. Apparently
we're lucky that I remember the comment, but I don't remember the conversation.
Well, that's what you said this morning during your Schumann resonance report. You said you were talking and then your brain went blank. And I have to tell you, I was like, oh, I feel so much better because I consider you to be highly intelligent individual. So, because I have been doing that a lot, I've been having conversations with groups and just like, it's gone. It is completely gone. And I don't necessarily think it's just a lot of people will be like, well, it's menopause, it's your age. I do not necessarily believe that. I have met kids who are 19 years old who are having this happen to them as well. Tell me that's menopause.
Right. No, I agree. It happens to me all the time. My biggest issue is time. I'm very lost in time. And there are I had a conversation with someone earlier today about this, where my frequency is so different from what it was just 6 years ago, let's say, that like my husband will bring something up. Like we were driving in the car and he was talking about this trip that we took with friends before we got married to go to DC, and we were there for a few days. And he's talking about this trip and he's like, "Don't you remember?" And I'm looking at him and I'm like, "I think that was somebody else." And he's like, "No, it was you." And I go, "No, I have zero memory, like zero, absolutely blank there. I have no recollection at all of being there." Like he talked about all these things that we did and all this stuff, and I had zero memory. But again, in one of my revelations from the man with the white beard, I believe it was, he told me that as your frequency changes, if you try to reach back to memories from an older version of you, it's not in resonance with the version that you are. And so it becomes more and more difficult to kind of put fingers on or touch those older things. And it's not just, obviously getting older, of course, your memory is going to get worse. That's the nature of humanity. Like, of course, but this is different. You know what I'm talking about. It's different. Yeah. It's that feeling where you're looking at somebody and you're like, what are you even talking about? Like just completely zero blank space. But when I think about it, everything before my spiritual awakening is very blurry to me. It's not that I don't remember, but it's very muddy. It's almost like it's one smeary painting, right?
Oh,
it's nothing clear, nothing super clear. I have to really work to focus on anything back there. But things since my awakening, even if I don't remember the date of when it happened, I remember it happening, because I don't think the time is such a relative thing for me now, right? So it's interesting to see myself progress that way. But I forget your question. But yeah,
well,
this is what happens.
Yeah. Yay. All right. So we were talking about stuff. We were talking about some stuff.
Family curses.
Yeah, that was where we started, but that is not what we were talking about. So family curses. Supposedly we were talking about those last time we talked, but we didn't get to finish it. So probably both of us just went, let's go over here. Family curses. I personally do not believe in curses. I think curses are real if you believe they're real. I believe that we can open ourselves up to things because fear, which is what I have been trying to debunk for so long, not create more of it, but to get rid of fear, because fear controls us.
Yeah, I think there's a mix-up in definition. I think people are saying curse and actually meaning cycles. Cycles in families are very real, and that is perpetrated by what you observe as you are growing up, and that creates the lenses. It creates the lenses that you look through, and it can be interpreted as a curse. It can feel like a curse. You can say every woman in my family for the last 300 years is blah, 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 and that may be true. But if you're growing up thinking to yourself, this is going to happen to me because it's happened to every generation for 300 years, then guess what? Law of attraction is like, okay, here you go. So I personally agree with you. I'm not someone who believes in curses at all. I give zero merit to them, but I do believe in law of attraction.
Yeah.
Law of attraction is very real. And so if you are looking at something like a cycle, like let's say there's a cycle of abusive marriages in your family. The women in your family for the last 7 generations have all been in abusive marriages, and now you find yourself in one. I can understand how that feels like a curse. But if you grew up understanding that as normal, why wouldn't you choose that as your normal? That's something. Breaking that cycle is what changes things for the people that come after you.
And that is something that's happening a lot right now. People are actually starting to wake up to all of the generational trauma that's been handed down from line to line, and people are starting to heal themselves and correct it so that it doesn't get passed down any further. And that's a collective consciousness coming to the surface. We have to heal. We're getting an opportunity to heal.
Right.
So here's what all right. My grandma lost a daughter, and instead of processing, she seemed to erase her existence entirely. It's like she never allowed herself to face the loss. Losing a child is a very difficult thing for anyone. It's hard for animals. It's hard for humans. 3 years ago, I lost my son to heart. Oh, sometimes I find myself wondering if so it could. I believe in soul contracts. I believe that we learn from everything, even the things that happen that are awful, that are disgusting, that are horrible. I think that we can take a lesson and we can flip the switch on all of the things that occur. And while I don't think that has anything to do with the curse, it could be your soul said, I need to know what this is like, or I need to balance some energy. I'm going to incarnate back into this lineage, into this family, so we can deal with this as a group. So your grandma, your souls would have all agreed to have these experiences. I know how fucked that sounds, and I apologize. But it is something that I've seen a lot.
Right. But I want to, for me, so towards the end, she says, because she never dealt with her grief, is this something that somehow carried down to me, like a lesson that was never learned, now placed in my hands to face instead? The answer to that, friend, is no. It is not your responsibility to learn someone else's lessons. Not ever, not ever, not ever.
And you can't. You can't fix them, and you can't control them, and you cannot. Well said, Erin. Thank you for saying that. Yeah, no, that's not your job, sweetheart. That's not your job. Do you see that a lot with your clients too? How people will come in and like, can we just fix them, or can you fix me? Ooh, no, that's not my job.
Right. Yeah, I do. There's no such thing as a quick fix. You didn't get here overnight. You're not going to get out of here overnight. It just doesn't work that way.
But we humans like those shortcuts. Just do it.
Boy, humans are so impatient.
We are.
Hi, Jackie. Somebody asked how I was feeling. I'm feeling fine. You know, when that transmission came in, it really sort of short-circuited me earlier today. But by the end of making my video, I was actually back to normal. So, all right.
I like this one. What do you think about this one? Law of attraction. How much is it creator that determines what happens?
How much is it creator as in God. Universe that determines what happens in our life? So you want to go first? You want me to go first?
Yeah,
I was doing this with you.
Yeah. So supporting role is what I believe from God, source, universe, creator, supporting role. I love you. Go live, go have your experiences. I always joke that it's like God vicariously lives through each of us.
Yeah.
Because we're all part of it. We're all part of source. We're all God. We're all, I know.
I don't personally think God, source, universe determines anything that happens in your life. The way I look at it is if you think of the most well-stocked department store you can think of in the entire universe, that's the universe. You go in the store and put what you want in your cart, and you walk around and you can construct whatever you want based on what you put in your cart. The store is always open. The shelves are always full. There's never any punishment in there. The idea of being tested or punished is a very human thing that is not a God thing, because God is pure love, and it is not logical to assume that you would be tested or punished by something like that. That doesn't work. So to me, that's what that looks like, right? Is God source universe is not dictating what happens in your life. God source universe has given you a clean slate and everything you could possibly want, but you get in the way and you determine what happens in your life by learning to work with law of attraction and live on a conscious level rather than being unconscious and kind of just going wherever whatever you're paying attention to directs you to. Yeah. That's how I see it. That's my understanding, and that understanding alone has changed my life drastically.
Yeah. There's certain things that we're here to experience, and I don't know that there's any way to get away from those experiences because it's supposed to balance for us. But how we as the human, we get free will. We get to decide, not doing that, I'm doing this. We get to decide. So there are certain things that are going to occur, but that doesn't mean we don't have control, because we do.
Right. Melissa and I do not offer a course about channeling, but I will tell you I have a workshop on channeling coming up if that's something you're interested in. It is not with Melissa, but it's with Sam from Spirituality with Sam. So if that is something that you are interested in, I do have that. But Melissa and I do not know that we don't teach a course on that right now.
We are going to be teaching a course on mediumship in April.
Yes, that's true. I'm sorry. I was reading a comment and I got lost.
Erin.
I'm sorry. I was reading a comment. Yes, we are doing one on mediumship.
We are.
So that would be super fun.
Yes. Do you want me to pop one up on screen? Is there one?
No, I just got distracted. Squirrel,
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah. I was looking at Amber's comment. How much do we connect with ancestors? I find it feels strong connection with cultures of my ancestors. Is this me or them reaching out? Well, what makes you think it's not both, first of all? And secondly, everybody connects differently to different things. I think we do ourselves a disservice when we measure our experience by someone else's yardstick.
Yeah.
Right? Why would you do that to yourself? You are a unique, beautiful individual, like a thumbprint. So your experience is unique to you. And if your higher self is learning a lesson about whatever, and your ancestors and your physical ancestry line has knowledge on that, then maybe they reach out to you. Why you can't assume that you're doing this in a silo. You're coming from a human perspective. Everything is connected. Everything is together. So your ancestors are aware of what your higher self is doing. Just like everything is aware of everything. It's the the whole thing.
The whole thing. I will tell you that my experience has been whenever I am connecting with Indigenous people, their ancestors come through stronger than almost any other ethnicity, any other heritage, than any of the other people I've connected with. And it is almost 100% of the time. I have the most powerful shamanic energy stepping forward. And it is just like, oh my God, to be in that presence is pretty empowering. I mean, I should say humbling is probably a better word. I start, just shaking and tearing up. It's just a really powerful presence. And I cannot put my finger necessarily on why that happens, but I can tell you it happens all the time. It is a very powerful energy.
Yeah, if you're feeling it, man. Don't talk yourself out of it.
No, not. Sometimes I would just like to know why it comes through so strong in certain cultures, in the Indigenous culture specifically.
Belief.
I don't well, I guess I kind of do.
Well, think about it, though. Think about it. In the Indigenous cultures, they are much more open to a broader belief system.
Touché.
The Christian culture is not. It's very rigid in its belief system. And so it would come through more strongly for them because they have less resistance to it.
I love that. I'm making my Indigenous hubby listen to you ladies with me. Hi, Crystal.
So, Melissa, this is a question for you. I want you to answer this one. It says, is it dangerous to try and connect with ancestors who were abusive? So were they abusive to you? Like abusive in what way? Can you clarify? Can Melissa, can you help with that?
Yeah, yeah. So I don't see where the question is.
It's OTPPDAZ 22. It came in at 1936.
Lovely question. Thank you so much. So, first of all, no. Our loved ones who are in spirit are not still in this body, in this mind, in this chaos. They have, especially like if I'm channeling or connecting to somebody's loved ones, I always ask that the people who come through are the ones who come through the light. They've already had their life reviewed. They're working from a healed state. Even from the healed state, we have access to who they were as a human being. And we can talk to that part of who they were as a human being. They will never come through. And I've done thousands of readings. Never, ever have I seen them come through to be harmful or to say, gosh, I'm glad I was an asshole. Gosh, I'm glad I hurt you. I have had people who have done some horrific things to people come through, and nobody wants to talk to them. But when they come through, it is because they need you to stop carrying the pain and the torment. It is never because they want you to forgive them. It's because they want you to release the burden from yourself. So sometimes people would be like, yeah, they just want to get into heaven. That is not what that is. Their soul is okay. most people don't want them to be okay. Again, human. Your soul is okay. And they want you to be okay because you're the one who's still here working through the trauma that might have been caused by somebody else. So even if they were abusive, they are not going to come through and be abusive. They're going to come through and be healing, helpful, and guide you.
Yes.
So it is
all of the contrast that they were holding on to in humanity has left the building.
Gone out of there to the hike. Yeah.
I have another really good question that I would love for us to answer from Mary 9292. When connecting with the spiritual realm, did you guys ever doubt yourself in receiving messages? Listen, Mary, my friend. Oh my gosh, I love you so very much. All the time, every day, every single time.
Uh-oh. I don't.
Oh, she disappeared on us again. She'll be back. Mary, I have imposter syndrome all the time. I can't tell you how many times I feel like I'm speaking and my brain is going, what are you saying? But the thing is I'm right. I'm right, you know? And the biggest mind pretzel for me was getting over needing someone else to understand it too. As long as I trusted myself. And that took a lot of time, quite frankly. It took a lot of time. So just know you're not alone. I don't know what's going on with Melissa. Now we have 3 cameras? What's happening? Hello, welcome. Hopefully Melissa's coming back. I don't know. I feel weird, like I should be tap dancing to keep your attention. We love gremlins in the system. Let's see. I cannot take the comment off, so we're going to have to leave Mary up there. Dorothy, knowing animals are so much more energetically connected to the energies. My pets are running to the door to greet people who are not there. It is a recent behavior. What more can you expect? I don't know. Girl.
I was getting ready to text my husband to tell on my internet, and it came right back up. So apparently, it's scared of him. What the heck? I don't know. Did I miss some good stuff?
Well, I was just talking about my imposter syndrome and how I still have. I mean, people assume I feel like people assume that I don't have that. I appear very confident, but that confidence is coming forward because it's a channel. So it's hard to explain that that feeling, right? My conscious Erin self sort of fades out, for lack of a better term, and this other like speed demon comes forward, right? And I explained it today as like when you're watching a dubbed movie and the mouth is moving really fast and then they stop moving their mouth and the words are still going because you're like catching up. Like that's what it's like for me, right? It comes out and then it takes me a second to catch up. So it feels very bizarre. It feels very odd. It feels very weird. So I always have doubts. I don't know that it ever goes away for anybody, at least to some degree.
Right. I think that there's always a little bit of questioning and always wanting to make sure you do your best job and that you get out of your way so spirit can come through. I think that sometimes like I know personally, sometimes I'll feel like, son of a bitch, I missed this. Like, and I'll do that to myself. But I know that when I go into a session, I do trust what they tell me. I've had people be like, no. And I will argue with you because I trust dead people. I've just learned. And because of that, what's really cool is after the fact, after I do a group reading, after the session is done, I'll get the email. Well, that was so-and-so. I talked to my mom. It was her sister. I get those things all of the time. And if I started to doubt just because somebody told me no, I wouldn't be able to do that. Something I talk about a lot is in 2017, I got an email, or I did a reading for a lady. She might be on here tonight. If she is, she can speak up. We did a reading. Her brother Michael came through, and she's like, "I don't have any brothers in spirit." And I was like, "Well, let's write it down." So we wrote some stuff down. 2 years later, she sends me an email. Michael was given up for adoption before she was born because her mom was in spirit. She didn't have any proof of that. But Michael also had a daughter by the name of Monica who had her dad's birth certificate and match DNA with Auntie. So when those things, if I wouldn't have even written it down if I didn't believe what I was getting. So you have to, even if the person in front of you says no, and I know that sounds horrible, but it doesn't mean no. They may not know about it. They may not understand it, but spirit has a reason for bringing that forward. They might want to say something like, well, you need to tell cousin Monica that she needs to do this, this, or this. So you do have to do your work, and you have to make sure that you trust yourself, especially if you're going to be dealing with the public.
Yeah. So, Richelle, this is not the place for those personal kinds of questions. I'm sure you missed the beginning. This is a live podcast recording, so not quite the place to address a personal reading, I would say. So maybe another time. Did I see the black line on the magnetic graph? Any insight? I have never, so Jackie, on the heartbeat graph, I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. I have never received any insight to tell me that that line has any significance. That doesn't mean that it's not significant, but I have never personally received insight to tell me what it is. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't have any insight on that. I don't have any comments to that, you know?
On the black line?
Yeah, on the black line, on the
is,
heartbeat graph of the Schumann stuff. Yeah, Melissa's like, I don't even know what you're talking about. I just think it's Sprechen Sie Deutsch. What's happening?
Sprechen Sie Deutsch? That is above my pay grade.
No, don't be sorry. Don't be sorry. I just wanted to let you know, Richelle. I'm glad you're here with us. All right, so
let's look at this.
We have two more topics.
Go ahead.
Let's do topics. Go ahead. We answer the question.
Intrusive and negative emotional feeling or thought around someone. Does it affect them, and is it better to correct this or let it go? I feel like I am really good at that one today, just for. So intrusive. Erin, do you want to share what you shared with me just before we came on about getting entangled in our intrusive thoughts and emotions? Or should I share?
You should share because I don't remember what I said.
So we're so human, and it is so easy to get entangled, and it is so easy to want to send anger and frustration at other human beings who are also frustrated, struggling, trying to figure life out. So I personally, I think this is where we do have to do a lot of inner work, so that we don't continue sending that stuff to other people, because what that literally does is it brings it back to us.
Yeah.
So the person who is just, they can't let it go, and so it's going to keep happening. And what happens with that energy is it's not just one person; it starts to spread to other people.
Yeah.
So,
you ever seen those videos where they do the germ test, where they have people take a raw chicken and touch it, and then they turn on the black light and you can see how it's all over the kitchen? Your energy is like that. Every single interaction that you have shares energy with them, and they share energy with you. It is impossible not to do that. Because your energy is fluid in nature, and you're walking up against, some people have very projected energetic fields, some people have very tight energetic fields. I mean, it's impossible not to. Holding on to it is a choice you make, right? Holding on to it is a choice you make.
Well, I think that it can be a choice if you're not doing the inner work. That makes sense. So if you're not doing the work, you're choosing to hold on to it. So and I don't think it's as simple as letting it go. I mean, I think that's so cliche, let it go. How? Look at it, dissect it. This is what you said earlier. What is it? How is it affecting you? Where are you holding it?
Yeah, where is it really coming from? Why does it bother you so badly? What is it trying to get your attention about? Your triggers are your greatest tools. I know people hate it when I say that, but it is absolutely the truth.
It's true.
It's absolutely the truth.
And I teach this every day, but having somebody, when you are starting to spiral or think you are, having somebody that you can bounce this back and forth with too is powerful. Mm-hmm. But I would say if you're having a moment where you're going to spiral, maybe not with your best friend, because best friends usually are the ones who are spiraling with you. So maybe don't do it with somebody who's not going to spiral with you. So we'll be like,
Right.
okay, feet on the floor, deep breath. What is this for you? Where are you holding it? What the hell's going on? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So I do want to talk about these other two stories. So you
Let's
get
do
to
it.
pick the next one. All right.
Okay.
You get to pick the next one. Do you want the mystery with a side of maybe aliens or the really good news?
I want both. So we'll let somebody else choose. I want both.
We have a mystery, maybe with a side of aliens, and we have some
We
really
like
good.
aliens. Let's do, but I like good
Okay.
news.
All right. Well, let's do the mystery. All right.
Okay.
So I don't know if you guys have heard the story, but there is a missing general named William Neal McCassin. Have you guys heard about this guy?
I have not.
So he is a general. I just said everything. He's a general, and he has gone missing without a trace, quite literally. He's retired. He's no longer active duty, but he's gone missing. So he here's some interesting information about General McCassin. If I'm saying his name incorrectly, I apologize. He was head of the Air Force Research Lab that worked on classified materials, right? And he worked closely with the inventor of a material that they now a unique alloy that they now use on the spaceships, right? The space shuttles. Okay. Last year, the inventor of that alloy, guess what happened to her? Vanished without a trace. So she was hiking with friends, waved to her friends, said, I'll be right there, and disappeared, never to be seen again. Okay? And now this general, when I think it was Burleson, Representative Burleson was on a podcast and he was talking about how the Senate Committee for UAPs was looking for General McCassin to subpoena him because they think he was involved in UAP retrievement programs, which created this alloy that's now on the spaceships. And now he's missing, gone, without a trace.
Do you know her name?
I don't know her name off the top of my head. I bet I can look it up.
Do it.
But I find that super interesting to me because something feels very strange about this.
Fishy.
Very
Something
fishy about
very
this.
fishy.
And there was someone else also that went missing associated. It was 3 people, but I didn't remember the other person's name, so I didn't want to bring it up. But let's see if I can missing.
I heard secret weapon. Secret weapon. Interesting. Not coming back. I do think that our government is involved in some things. There's a lot that, you know, look at history and what they've done in the past. I don't think they're done with it. Oh,
Let me see. Where is she?
somebody on here also was asking about somebody else who had gone missing, and I meant to pull it up, but I couldn't get it. And I was like, damn. So somebody else had a missing person. Like, I will tell you, I get a really big knot on the top of my head. Right
Here's her name. So this article, the title of this article says, "This super alloy could end American dependence on Russian rockets." Now, 2 officials involved in development are missing. This is before the general was missing, right?
Yeah.
So both of them went missing. Her name is Monica Yacenta Reza, Reza.
Okay. That's really interesting that that name keeps coming up tonight, Monica. I think I've said it twice.
So I don't believe in coincidences, right? I think that's a silly notion. It just right, and the MIT professor that was working on cold fusion that was killed also, right? Another stuff. But these 3 in particular, the general and the woman, right? Working on this alloy that the UAP task force was searching to subpoena him to come testify about UAP retrieval programs. There, like the inference here is that the alloys that they invented came from UAP retrieval, UAP back engineering. That is difference that they're making. And as they're calling him to Congress to testify this, surprise, surprise, now he's missing.
I am hearing the weirdest shit. I heard, I don't really know how much, I don't want to cause fear. I heard they took him out sideways. I'm like, what the hell does that mean? They took him out sideways?
I don't know. Something's fishy with that story. So that's something I would love everybody to kind of keep a half eye on. Just to listen, check the underground news, listen to your tiki-talkies, because there might be something interesting going on there. We are in the midst of disclosure. I understand that what people thought disclosure was going to be was spaceships on the lawn, aliens dancing in party dresses, and nobody can deny it. That's what we all thought it was going to be. That's not what it is. We are in active disclosure right now. It is literally all around you. Just look at it. And if you try to make the argument with me that movies about disclosure, documentaries about disclosure, and people telling their stories on TikTok are not disclosure, I will say you are wrong, because nobody watches the news. People watch TikTok. People watch movies. That's how you're going to reach people. We are in active disclosure. Do I think it's going to get stronger, more of a disclosure? Absolutely. But I think that, the U.S. has a history of wanting to try to control the narrative, right? So if someone has something to say that maybe wouldn't reflect so greatly, I'm just saying, it's fishy to me that they're all missing at the same time.
Yeah. So I put that in, and so I wanted to see what that might be. Sideways, not through the front door, not through the back door, an exit that wasn't direct, a transition that didn't follow the expected path, a removal that happened through a liminal or indirect route, something that bypassed the obvious channel, took him out, extraction, removal, removed from a situation, he was pulled out of a trajectory. Yeah, he was definitely pulled out of a trajectory. Okay, someone being redirected without realizing it. So, yeah. I hear suspicious.
Very suspicious. Very suspicious. Very suspicious.
Interesting.
There's some fishy stuff going on. We don't see. You have to remember that. I mean, at least in the United States, we don't see, even on TikTok, especially now on TikTok, we are no longer seeing as many videos internationally as we used to. Like, I know for sure I'm not. I'm seeing almost all exclusively U.S. videos, which is fine. But we're not seeing the stuff that's happening in other parts of the country. I came across somebody on YouTube who was showing a video of all this orb activity in Iran. Tons and tons and tons. Now, Iran is being bombed the heck out of right now, right? And these orbs are showing up and people are filming it, but we are not seeing it here. So there's stuff going on all over the place.
Yeah.
You kind of just have to keep that in mind, that you're not getting the full picture most of the time.
Okay. Yes. She's not here. Just left the building. That's awesome. What are all these names? Sis, Regina, James. James is actually, they're talking about my guides. I don't know who Regina is. That's not one of mine. Sis is actually a little girl that I channel. That sounds weird. I just let myself. I channel a little girl by the name of Sis. Okay. And then James is my guide. He will show up. I feel like he usually shows up on my right side. And sometimes people, like when you watch videos, you will see orbs fly into my head, fly into my chest, fly out of my chest. Yeah.
We have a juicy question. I want to answer it.
Do it.
It says, if time is not linear and everything is happening all at once, how come we hear so much about our past lives, but not so much about seeing our future lives? Oh, I love this question.
I do
love
too.
it. All right. So the first thing you need to understand is that your past life is not you. It's a different version of your higher self. So you have to picture it like a twin, similar but different, same mama, different person, right? So it's not you having that experience. And when I think about lives, instead of thinking of a timeline, I picture a library full of books. Each one of those books has its own plot, its own characters, its own storyline, all the stuff, right? Those are your higher self life experiences. You can go back and access part of your past lives? Sure. But you're never going to be given, I mean, my personal understanding is you're never going to be given access to anything that is going to interrupt anything that you have going here. It is only helpful information to provide clarity in a situation, but it will not change the trajectory or momentum of what you have going on. And the purpose of manifesting into a physical reality is so that your higher self can experience the physical reality. So if you were given too much information about your future selves, which if you want to really zoom in on that, future doesn't exist if everything's happening at once. So your question is hard to answer there. But if you were given too much information about what was happening in your future, it would change your free will. You would shift what you were doing and then it wouldn't happen. But there is no future you because it's a different version of your higher self. This is where you are, this life experience. Like, this is Erin here.
Literally, only Erin right there.
This is just Erin here. It's not Erin in all these other books. We are related, but not the same. And when you leave the Erin experience, you return to the person reading the books instead of being the character in the book.
Yeah.
Hopefully that was helpful.
Yeah. Well, the timeline thing is a real thing. Timeline collapsing isn't the fear laden thing that a lot of people think it is either. What my guides showed me when they were showing me timelines, they would like put this line out, and then you know how pudding cake, that you pop a hole in the cake and then you add. That's what they showed me, how we were interjected into timelines, how each soul is just popped right. I was like, well, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Weird. But so it's like pudding cake.
Yeah. I mean, it's you have to kind of be open-minded about it, but it's hard to answer about your future life because it's not you.
Yeah.
It's a different book. You are in your book now. That's a whole different book. So it doesn't pertain. You
I
know?
still struggle wrapping my mind around the fact that all of our lives are being led or had at the very same time.
Oh yeah, it is the mind pretzel for sure. It is a mind.
You used a nice word. I was going to use a dirty word.
Well, I try to keep it clean on here, right? We're a podcasting friend, but I get that. I totally get that. But that's just because our entire reality is constructed in a linear fashion. So it's very hard for us to perceive something outside of that.
Yeah.
You know, there's no way to really even imagine yourself in a place like that. Just like, I mean, at least for me, it's impossible for me to try to imagine myself not existing. Like, how do you imagine something? How do you do something that isn't there? Like, you can't do that. It's a brain twist, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So you can actually go and look at different lifetimes too. You can do past life regressions, but I've also done the future life, and people have been like, "Oh, I'm a man now, or another animal, or something." But those are pretty fun, and you can absolutely do that.
You can, but again, you still have to remember it's not you.
It's not you. It's no. And everybody I feel like the people I've led through that understand that they don't look like themselves. They come in as men. I'm a dude. I've got this son. But it is kind of fun to be able to see what some of those incarnations might entertain. There was something I wanted to go back to the dolphin guy, and my brain just went, no, you don't. What the heck was it? There was something about because we can create DMT within our own brains when we go into a really deep meditative state. And so I'm wondering if something wasn't released. I'm not saying he didn't do it. I'm just throwing it out as another, I wonder if something with DMT was released for him. Something just flew behind me.
Oh, interesting.
I missed it.
So I would love to talk about this question. Once we enter the higher vibe past the fourth dimension, we won't have time anymore. So for me, I want to explain what I understand third, fourth, and fifth dimensions actually are, because to me, that question doesn't really make sense, right? So I don't personally think that the human physical body will ever go past third dimension because of the cellular structure of the body it can only go to a certain frequency before it turns into liquid, right? Like everything is vibrating in your body. There's a frequency. And if you speed that up too much, like boiling water, you will evaporate. So you can't do that. So I don't believe that the human physical body will ever progress out of 3D. That said, the higher piece of you, when you return to your higher self in the 5D, this is also what I call superposition, where everything is possible, everything is happening all at once. So, yes, when you return to 5D, does time disappear? Yes, the whole purpose of an incarnation is to experience change, because in the 5D, there is no passage of time. Without the passage of time, there can be no change.
Yeah.
So you incarnate into a world where there is some change. You learn a lesson.
I think people have this fear. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there's this fear that 5D is coming and everybody's going to burn up because they're not going to make it through the orbit of going from one dimension to
There's
another.
so much fear on all kinds of levels about that, and I just don't. I that's not how I understand it. It's just very briefly. The way I understand it is through frequency. Okay, vibration is the movement. Vibration is the movement of something. Frequency is the speed of that movement, right?
Every time I say that word now on my Patreon, I'm like, don't tell Erin I said that. I think I said that.
So 3D, where we are physically, is very slow moving. It is so slow moving that it's solid. It creates solid materials. That's how slow it's moving, right? 4D is where time exists. This is the alternate dimension. Instead of height, height, width, and length, now you add time, right? Time exists inside your mind, your computer, because that is the only place where you can time travel. You can go back in time. You can go forwards in time. You can think about, have I done it before? What was it like then? What do I do if I do it again? And you start processing things in 4D. 5D is where all possibility exists. This is where all the big waveforms are, the waveform of possibility. When you knock into, tap into, run into, whatever you want to call it, one of those waveforms, and you start to focus on it, it starts to collapse in like this and goes from being a possibility to a probability. And then that waveform gets smaller, smaller, smaller until it is able to become so slow and small that it becomes 3D manifested. So I don't know how to answer the question when people are saying, well, are we going to ascend to 5D? I mean, eventually, yeah, when you die. But, like, why are you worried about it? Like, let's enjoy this. Like, I don't understand the question.
I think it's a frequency thing. I really do. I think it's how we're vibrating. I think it's a frequency thing is what I keep feeling this sense. And it's about what we're allowing into our system, what we're allowing, what we're connecting to, what we're soaking up, what we're frustrated on, where we're putting our focus and our energy, because that's what we're bringing into our lives.
Yeah.
So but I think it is too. Meditate on it and so you can get some more answers.
I mean, that's the way I understand it. I mean, and there's other creators and other spiritual teachers that explain it differently, and that's totally fine. You have to go with what feels right for you. But for me, because everything I see is in frequency, of course, it's going to be explained to me through frequency. And that's frequency is the speed of movement of a vibration. So, that's how it is for me. But, you do what you do.
You do what you do. Okay, let's move into your good news.
All right, this is great news. I'm super excited about this. All right, so there is a pharmaceutical trial happening at University of Chicago right now with Eledon Pharmacies, Eledon, and they have taken a trial group of people. I forget how many. I think maybe 10 people with type 1 diabetes, and they have done a transplant of something called an islet cell. The islet cells are specialized cells in the pancreas where endocrine hormones are produced, i.e. insulin, right? So these islet cells have been transplanted into them, and then they go in every 6 weeks and get some kind of infusion, probably an anti-rejection drug. And in 4 weeks' time, they have all become insulin independent, and their A1Cs have dropped dramatically, making them technically no longer diabetic.
Wow.
So this is a cure for type 1 diabetes.
Wow.
This is I mean, you guys, I hope you understand the gravity of that. Type 1 diabetes causes so much havoc in your body, and it starts when you're young, when you're a kid. These people lose their sight, they lose their limbs, they lose their nerve pain.
My mom lost both of her legs.
Right. This is a cure for type 1 diabetes. And I mean, obviously, it's still in trials, and obviously, there's lots of work ahead, but it is unbelievable to me that in just 4 weeks' time, these people have gotten off of insulin. And you can go on like TikTok and look up the testimonials, like the patients that are in the trial. You can find them, and they'll tell you how they feel and what's been happening and what it looks like and all that stuff. And they're all saying that it's changed their lives.
Yeah. Damn. So where did you get that? So you're a member of that?
No. So I read a lot of studies because I'm a nerd and I like it. And I came across this study I have friends with type 1 diabetes. So as my Google page does not look like, I assure you, your Google page. My Google page is full of like science and articles and all this stuff. And this article came across my.
I got you.
Plus, I'm also in Chicago, so probably a regional thing too.
Yeah.
But yeah, the pharmacy is called Eledon Pharmacy, Eledon. They're doing this at University of Chicago. It's going on right now.
So they have a cure for cancer, they have a cure for diabetes.
Well, they have a cure for type 1 diabetes. Type 2 diabetes is not the same.
Fair, type 1. Okay.
But type 1. But I mean, and to be fair, it's still in the trial period. So, but it's gotten to the point where they're doing human trials. So that's very, very promising.
Interesting. Okay, well, let's keep our fingers crossed. Okay.
And that was the end of all my stuff that I brought.
You brought good questions. These were fun. We should do that again. Maybe scour the news and like the weird shit that comes up. Maybe let's see what we can share. Real quick, Deborah says, my guides have indicated that entire civilizations exist on Earth, Mars, etc. I believe that we cannot see because their vibration. Sorry, their vibration is higher than ours. Yes. I have done quantum healing hypnosis on people, and they have gone to other planets and other journeys. And I have had people who have been, I don't necessarily know if I want to call it abducted because she wasn't scared. And when she went to a ship, I thought, well, you in a boat? Because on my head, I was like, oh, the ship. You're going to a ship on it. No, she was flying through the air. So, yeah. Amazing information comes through those sessions. So yes, we absolutely can. Sometimes it's hard for the human brain to wrap around that. There was a time not so long ago I would have called bullshit. That doesn't happen. That can't happen.
Well, and I mean, if you just want to go on the principle that all time is happening all at the same time and everything is frequency, we as humanity are tuned to this specific frequency right here and now. But should you turn the dial just a little bit, there might be dinosaurs right where you are.
That's mediumship. You just explained mediumship. It is just simply turning the dial to focus on something else instead of focusing on. You just focus on something. That's mediumship.
Right. The human physical vessel is a very narrow band receiver. I mean, think about we can't even perceive the whole spectrum of light. We can perceive barely any of the spectrum of light or the sound. Like the human body is incredibly limited in what it can perceive. Probably a good thing, because if you could see
literally
all the the Wi-Fi, the microwaves, all the stuff in the air, it would
all
be
terrifying. All the things around you. If you could see the things around you at any given time, use your mind. So we don't train our eyes to see those things.
Correct.
Okay. So, well, my first one is Friday. I don't know what that means. Meeting versions of self. Yes, I agree with you, Erin. I've had my own personal experience where it was full of dolphins. Oh, fun. The dolphin thing, that's huge. Dolphins are spirit. Well, all animals are messengers. So the fact that dolphins keep coming up, let's look and see what dolphins say for us right now. I do get the number 9, and I hear, well, we're getting ready to enter another phase. They're saying schoolyards changing, time for planetary alignment, time for movement. A lot of us are shit. I don't know if I want to say that out loud. A lot of us are going to be pissed, I hear. A lot of us are going to be like, there's a lot of big stuff coming, but it's not bad stuff. It's only if you perceive it as that, but causing a lot of shifts and a lot of changes. And I do hear the reason we're going to be pissed is because it's moving us out of our comfort zone. So we're really going to be challenged to what I hear is to be the most authentic, best version of yourself as you can be. So some of us are going to just be like saying dirty words. I already do, so you guys can join me there for that. So interesting little download. That's from James. Okay. Dolphins arrive when a person is being lifted out of heaviness, reconnected to joy after a long stretch of contraction, reminded of their own intelligence, intuition, and play, pulled back into breath, presence, and emotional fluidity. Dolphin is a pattern interrupter,
Well, ain't that nice?
a frequency reset.
Love it.
I'm
We
up
need
for
one.
air. Yeah.
We need one.
Crows are messengers. Yes, all animals are. All animals are. Every pretty much everything. Something that I have been getting a lot of more somatic experiences. I feel everything. I don't want to say that in a bad way. I feel everything. So when you're shuffling cards, I'm going to touch on this for you if you don't mind. But if you're reading oracle cards or doing cards, like for me, I don't do it professionally, but I do it for fun. I do psychic readings. But sometimes I like to pull cards and I'll just sit and shuffle and wait for them to fall out. And when they fall out, I pay attention to what side of my body, because right side masculine, left side feminine. Are they at my feet? Do they fall in my lap? I get them stuck on my wrist. I get them stuck in my thumb. Every part of you has a purpose and a meaning that changes the meaning of this and creates a deeper meaning. So you don't have to pull the cards and here, you cut the deck and you do this. You can just shuffle and allow them to come out and get information from them. That is very important to the person you are connecting with or yourself. Just so you know. Okay.
All right. Well, it has been a little over an hour.
It has, and I'm tired. Are you tired?
I'm tired.
Yeah, long day. You've had a lot of stuff today, yeah?
I had a lot going on today, plus I'm packing, and it's getting down to crunch time. We're moving in 2 weeks. So, all the little things that you got to do before you move, you forget how much it is.
You're moving in 2 weeks?
Yeah. So, real quickly, let's wrap up this evening. Melissa, what do you have coming up that if people want to get a hold of you or want to do something with you, how do they do that?
My dog is headbutting the door. I'm so sorry. So what I have coming up, I have my first retreat coming up on the 27th and 28th of March. Let me grab her. I'm so sorry. Let me grab
All right, I'll go. So this Saturday, I am doing a live energy reset for the equinox with Reiki Rachel. Tickets are still available for that. You can go to my website, consciously-erin.com, click on Tools for Transformation, and all kinds of tickets are in there. But the one that's coming up first is this Saturday. It is a combined effort with Reiki Rachel. It is always a great place to be, and she's going to blow all the cobwebs out of your house for your spring cleaning. Okay? It's going to be so fun. I have a retreat also coming up in June for the solstice. Tickets are on sale for that. It is in Arkansas. It is at I forget if it's called what she called it, but it's a quartz-rich area, and so the whole retreat is built on top of slabs of quartz.
Oh, shit.
and it's over the equinox or over the solstice. And so we are going to welcome the solstice with a big bonfire overnight outside. You can go dig up your own crystals. There's yoga every day. It's going to be lovely. Tickets are also available for that. Now, Melissa, back to you. What do
Okay,
you have?
sorry. Okay, so I have a retreat March 27th and 28th that is Wild and Within. It is really learning how to get your own answers, learning to find space within yourself. We're going to do a lot of laughing. It's an overnight retreat. It is in the mountains. It is on my website. There's a link there. I'm going to be in Spokane, Washington in April. I think it's like the 25th and 26th, but I'll have dates posted soon. We're doing our little class on mediumship, and that's going to be in April, mid-April. And then
No, I think it's in May, isn't it?
No, April.
Is it April? What month is this? March?
It's March. Yes, we will talk. I have another live coming up with Kadrick.
Yes, April 10th.
And his, I think that's in a couple of weeks, but I'll get all those dates posted. So it'll be a lot of fun. So
April 10th.
April, oh, that's early month. That's not mid-month. April 10th. So,
yes, April 10th. It'll be lovely. It'll be a great time. It's a great opportunity. We're going to talk about energy. We're going to talk about mediumship. We're going to connect with some friends. Tickets are available.
Tickets are available. Okay, we're going to let you go get some. I'm going to go have dinner and take care of my crazy girl.
All right. So you guys make sure you check us out. We are going to do this once I move and get established. We're going to try to do this at least twice a month.
Yes.
Up until then, we're going to do it once a month. But make sure that you save up your topics so you can drop them in the chat.
Yes.
Share it with us, right? You know where to find us. Make sure you are liking, subscribing, and sharing and doing all the stuff. This is what enables us to be here for you. If you don't help us with that, we can't help you with this.
Exactly. Like and share as much as you can. Follow us. That is a form of payment. Believe it or not, that is a form of payment for us.
Yeah.
So just do that. Like, share.
Especially on YouTube for me.
Oh, right.
Especially on YouTube.
My YouTube is really small. My Facebook.
Girl, you got to get on the YouTube.
I'm trying.
Come on now, get on it. Get down on it.
I spent all my energy. I don't know if you did this, but like when I was building, I spent all of my energy on Facebook, and now I'm like, crap, I need to be other places. So I'm working on it. I'll try.
All right, y'all. Have a wonderful evening.
Good night, everybody. Thanks for being here.